Have you ever witnessed something that should have gotten someone fired at work? If so, what happened? Who was the worst student in your high school, and what did they do that was so bad? What is the most creepy thing you've ever witnessed? Finding my dad dead in his recliner. I swear I heard his voice when the coroner came for his body. My granddad knocked over my great-grandma's ashes in his car accidentally, and to this day swears he heard her laugh loud and clear as if she stood next to him. She had a hugely wicked sense of humor and would have found this and my very stressed granddad carefully collecting her ashes back into the container before my grandma saw very funny. When I was about 12, I was sleeping on my trampoline with a friend, and we heard the bushes move behind us and flashed our flashlight to the bushes, and a mountain lion was laying there stalking us. I've never ran so fast in my life. This guy followed me home, said he saw me there often, and named a few local spots I go to sometimes as places he sees me. One random night in middle school, I woke up and had the odd feeling that something or someone was present in the house and coming towards my room. I was scared, so I closed my eyes to pretend to be asleep. I could faintly hear something come in my room, and it felt like someone was standing over me, looking to make sure I was asleep. I laid on my back, eyes shut, until the feeling passed, and ended up falling asleep. I woke up in the morning to find out that our house was robbed. That would be terrifying. That would be so terrifying. Oh my god. Well-dressed 50-something business dude on a quiet Chicago L train, reading a Wall Street Journal. Pretty woman with long curly hair dozing in the seat in front of him, her hair dangling behind the seat. The guy is rubbing and playing with her hair while reading his paper, so I figure she's his wife or girlfriend who just wanted some space to nap. He is now intently rubbing and fondling her hair and not reading anymore. Suddenly, she snaps awake and pulls in her hair like a bug was in it or something. She gets off at the next stop. He continues reading. They didn't know each other at all. Before cell phones, I accidentally dialed the wrong number, but got the person I was trying to call at the wrong number. She was at her uncle's house. He picked up the phone. I asked for her, and he sounded confused as he handed her the phone. My boyfriend in college sat bolt upright in his sleep and said, "Don't look if you make eye contact with it. It will kill us both." Then he fell back down, still asleep. Damn near peed myself. I traveled to London for work occasionally. It was a busy morning, rush hour, and hundreds of people were walking over London Bridge, zoned out on their commute. I looked down into the River Thames and saw a police boat driving towards this floating object. Then they just pulled the body up and into their boat and sped off. I felt like I was the only person who'd even noticed it. First time I've seen a dead body. Looking up at 2 a.m. while playing Xbox and seeing 2 deer just staring at me through my window. It could be worse. It could be someone staring at you through your window. Some guy said he's going to carve my name on his thigh in the middle of school in front of the whole class. I had never met this man in my life either. What's the most disturbing secret you've discovered about someone close to you? A work colleague appeared on the front page of a national newspaper for a life of fraudulent qualification. He claimed medical and law degrees, was a brigadier in the Army Reserves, and was the CEO for a major Heath fund. He actually was a brigadier in the Army Reserves, but that and the Heath fund role were largely built on the fraudulent qualifications and a progression of jobs also based on this claim. In reality, the only qualification he actually had was as a mortuary assistant. Not even his wife knew. The fraudulent degrees had been gained when he was in the Army Reserves recruiting, and he had access to submitted position applications. He came undone when he applied for a government job and some flags were raised by the recruitment people. He tried to withdraw the application, but didn't realize that an application for a government role has the same weight as a statutory declaration and cannot be withdrawn. It all went very south very quickly, and he ended up doing jail time. When my grandfather passed away, we discovered that he did not exist. His name was not in any government registry, and he was a normal citizen, paid taxes, had a license and everything. Lived a long life, married to my grandmother for over 50 years, had multiple children, and everything normal. Still to now, no one knows who he really was and why he had a false name. My mom received birthday cards with money in them for years from her parents, and she kept the cards with the money in them, saving to buy a piano or for sentimental reasons. My sister, who has reportedly stolen from family members, found the collection of cards/money and took them. My mom only wanted the cards back when she realized what happened. My sister denied everything. Frick you, Emily. My great-grandmother was married to 3 different people at the same time. The men were from different branches of the military. She was collecting all 3 of their paychecks at a time. My brother was stealing money from my father, who had dementia. This went on for a year, and then I found out about it because the bank who had my father's mortgage called me wondering why it hadn't been paid in 6 months. My father's bank account went into the negative around this time too, and when I confronted my brother about it, he said, "Well, I gotta pay my bills." I was about to take control of all the accounts and make sure Shot got back on track, but my father ended up in the hospital and died shortly after that. My brother also stole some of my inheritance too. In the end, he stole over $5,000 from his dying father. What a pathetic piece of garbage. I wasn't close to this person, but I did hang out with him a few times, and the best man at my wedding had another really close friend who turned out to be a serial killer. It messed him up really bad. He already had mental health issues, and this sent him over the edge. I can't even talk to him anymore. I miss you, man. My best friend confessed to me that he has a child as a result of a long-distance affair in another country. He has 3 kids in the US and is in a toxic marriage. His wife does not not know. My coworker lets her dog hump her leg every morning until he releases, while she has her coffee, which has stayed with me since I heard it. I can't think of anything else when they talk to me. The stuff some people admit, man. You wouldn't be able to torture this information out of me. Yeah, bro, Batman could not get that information out of me. That's disgusting. So my grandmother, who's been estranged from my family for a long time now for a multitude of reasons, has this weird thing where she has to share food with people. Are you ordering steak at the restaurant? Well, oh boy, she's got to order the same thing even if she doesn't like steak. Try her drink. It's really good. Take the first bite of chicken to let her know if it's any good. This always really annoyed me because I hate sharing food. One day I brought it up to my mom and she was like, oh yeah, grandma is afraid of being poisoned, so she wants other people to try it first. So let me get this straight. Grandma thinks someone is trying to poison her, so she has me try the food first? And it makes so much sense looking back because she literally would not take a bite of anything she ordered until someone else had a bite first. Thanks, Grandma. Looking out for yourself, Grandma. You know what? I don't respect it because that's kind of messed up. What is something that old people love that you don't understand? I'm a window cleaner and have a lot of elderly customers. Over the years, I've found they love to be the first one to tell me one of the neighbors have died. To the point where if I say, yeah, Thelma already let me know, they look genuinely disappointed and annoyed that they weren't the one to break the news to me. Telling you who died recently, famous or not famous. 2 in a row? I've never heard of an old person telling me that kind of stuff before. Then again, I don't really talk to old people. I don't like them all that much. It's not a personal thing. If anyone here is old and watching these videos, I really appreciate it. I've reached the tipping point. I love my hedge and some drunk kid fell in it. Big hole. Will take 4 years to grow back. This get off my lawn moment awakened the old in me. In my country of Brazil, old people sit in front of their houses and do absolutely nothing for hours, just watching people and cars go by. This is more common for lower social class. For instance, my grandma and her friends gather every day at someone's door and just sit there until the night comes. They're retired, telling anyone who will listen about their various ailments. Look, I'm 57, so I'm ancient by red standards, but I vowed early on that I will not become one of these oversharing old people, sitting hours behind those slot machines. You know what they say, 99% of gamblers quit before they hit big. Fine china and silverware. It's pretty in the way anything made in bulk can be. It's expensive and has very little resale value, fragile as frick, and virtually useless unless you're trying to impress another old person. Personal opinion, no hate. Facebook. Adding your own name to a comment like, great photos, love Mum and John. I freaking know it's you, Maureen. It shows me when you comment. Yeah, Facebook sucks. I actually completely deleted my Facebook last year, and it's been great. Soap operas. I get bored after 30 minutes. How does someone watch 500 episodes? I've never met anyone in real life who has ever watched a soap opera before. I feel like they're not real people. You know, people who like soap operas aren't real. They're like government plants. Oh my god. Just sitting down in my recliner is glorious. Younger people may think I'm nuts, but I have so much stuff going on. It's nice to just sit down and relax. This one I can vouch for. I actually bought my father, who's, you know, in his late 50s, his first ever recliner, and he loves it. Old people, you know, and their recliners. What is your favorite insult that doesn't sound like an insult? Common customer service technique I use. Customers ranting and yelling on the phone, and I don't say anything or try to interrupt. Then when they pause and ask if I'm still there, I say, yes, I was just waiting for you to finish. Takes the wind out of their sails every time. I'm so glad I'm not a over-the-phone customer service person because they will yell at you less in real life, which I'm not okay with, but I prefer it over being yelled at over the phone. Not necessarily an insult, more than a jokey comment to a coworker, but I love it. Has anyone told you you're doing a good job today? Responds no. Think about that. You're at the top of the bell curve. It's impressive how you manage to stay so confident. It's hard to underestimate you. You continue to meet expectations. I once made a moderately humorous remark among some friends, and one person said to me, that's the funniest thing you've ever said. I think they meant well, but it really was quite the burn. There's a Yiddish one. I hope someone names a child after you. It sounds nice until you realize that Jews don't name children after living relatives. Oh, well, learning some stuff about Jewish culture today. See you later. Not if I see you first. This has become so common in language that people don't realize it's an insult. You literally saying that if I see you first, I'm gonna avoid you. I'm gonna start using that one. That's wonderful. What movie blew your mind when you first saw it? Aliens. What an incredible movie-going experience. I was really engrossed the entire time, spirited away. The feeling it left me with was like I'd had an intense, vivid dream. I'd never seen such soulfully executed animation. Jurassic Park, Fight Club. It was such a weird movie with such crazy characters, beautifully shot, and a great story with themes that are still of interest today. Star Wars, 1977. I was 9 years old. Never saw anything like it before. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. This was the first movie that sprung into my mind as well. Editing and non-linear storytelling all work so well together, and I love the very tender and moving way it examines the pain and joy of being in a relationship. I wish I could wipe my memory and see it again for the first time. The Land Before Time. Granted, I was like 4 years old, but still. Children of Men. Clive Owen and Michael Caine are amazing. The direction by Cuarón and general dark feel of the movie just suck you right into the bleakness. The Silence of the Lambs. Every single movie I had ever seen had made a heroine interested in love. Finally, a movie about a genuinely terrifying bad guy, and the hero doesn't fold or fade, and the same with the book. Sadly, no sequel ever existed, ever. What is the single best episode of television you've ever seen? 3 stars. Stories from House, I always think is a brilliant episode. You Only Move Twice had the best Simpson one-off, Hank Scorpio. Futurama, the late Philip J. Fry. Best episode of the newer run in the entire series. Seen it so many times. BoJack Horseman, The View from Halfway Down. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when Will's dad had left him again and he's crying to Uncle Phil and says, "Why didn't he want me, man? I was in tears." Actually, nerd emoji. The quote is, "How come he don't want me, man? Please educate yourself next time you post on Reddit." The Simpsons, the monorail episode. The Simpsons episode where Grandma Simpson comes back. The ending with Homer sitting on his car looking up at the sky still gets me. The Simpsons, Mr. Plow. South Park, Make Love, Not Warcraft. The episode is a masterpiece. I'm a big South Park enjoyer. I really am. And I gotta agree that the World of Warcraft episode is so goddamn funny. Probably, I don't know if it's my favorite episode, but definitely like top 5 for sure. What is a video game you think everyone needs to play at least once in their life? Tetris. It puts all other games in context. No, it doesn't. Tetris is boring. Portal or Half-Life. Awesome games. I never played Half-Life. I probably should. Saw my pals play it and they love it, but I've just never gotten around to it. I think I even owned the game and I just never played it. I don't know. The original Super Mario Bros. For the NES. At least 1-1 and 1-2. I'm referring to Super Mario Bros. On the NES World 1 Level 1 and SMB World 1 Level 2. Nothing about SMB 2 or 3. Played it recently and it holds up surprisingly well. Everyone should experience the thrill and fun of Left 4 Dead 2 when you're playing with 3 of your friends. BioShock, Journey, Stardew Valley. Rarely do I find a video game that's truly relaxing in the traditional sense of the world, but this is one of them. I certainly didn't expect this simple post to take off the way that it has. Thank you so much for the awards, and I'm glad that Stardew Valley means that much to so many of you. It does to me too. Straw drops all around. Other than like the classic Nintendo game like Pokemon or you know, those kind of things, or Minecraft for me. I know Minecraft's not a Nintendo game, but you know what I mean. Stardew Valley has to be probably one of my favorite games of all time. Probably, definitely my top 5, if not my top 3. I play it all the time. I can play it vanilla, I can play it modded, and no matter what, I'm having a great time. It's such a good game. I'm so excited for The Haunted Chocolatier. I hope it's so good. You have to listen to one song on repeat for 24 hours straight to win $1 million. What song are you choosing? I've worked in a cafe, and I've basically done this for minimum wage plus tips. Prove you have the money and willingness to pay, and you can pick whatever damn song you want. MISIRLOU? I don't know what that is. I'd do that for free. Literally anything. I'd listen to a loop of children screaming over dogs barking at a lawn mowing crew with those backpack blowers mixed with a cat gagging up a hairball while a baby cries in the background. For $1 million, I'd listen to Donald Trump's stream of consciousness superimposed over an Indian call center while Bozo the Clown scratches a chalkboard next to me. One day, $1 million? Literally anything. 500 miles. It comes back around. Thanks for the golden awards, y'all. You're welcome. I really want to feel like I earned that $1 million, so Mambo number 5. Any instrument will be fine. Instrumental version of Bittersweet Symphony coming right up. Anyway, here's Wonderwall. Is that guy shitting on Bittersweet Symphony? That's a beautiful instrumental. I love that song. Bittersweet Symphony is an amazingly good song. I can listen to it all the time. It's been like one of my favorite songs since I was a child. Sandstorm by Darude. I'm just gonna vibe for 24 hours. Mortal Kombat theme song. Cotton-Eyed Joe. What is something that young people love that you don't understand? Filming themselves crying. Yeah, I saw one the other day of a girl holding her pet snake that died and she's crying like she just discovered it. Like she found her dead snake, set up a tripod with her camera and phone, and then got the angle right. Recorded herself crying with the dead snake and then edited it with captions about her dead snake and put sad music over it. It's kind of gross when you think about it. She's looking for sympathy, and in reality, if you're doing all that crap, the snake obviously is less important than your likes on social media. I consider myself part of the young crowd, even though I turned 25 in 2 months, but yeah, I don't get this either. People who film themselves crying are just kind of silly, and I'm sure there's reasoning for some people to do it. It's not a blanket statement of judgment, but if I ever go into TikTok and I see people crying and filming themselves crying, and it's not like an ironic bit, I'm like, dude, what is wrong with you? All those bad prank videos on people in public TikTok dancing. I can't handle the secondhand embarrassment when someone is dancing in aisle 5. Film random strangers without consent to make fun of them online, all for internet clout. I really hate the TikTok voice. She's got a name, you know. I just don't know it. I don't understand certain genres of TikTok or YouTube videos. Who is entertained by those videos where it's a robot voice reading out Reddit comments while Subway Surfer is being played on screen? Who is the audience for these videos where some dude with an awful haircut asks people risque questions either on a college campus or at the beach? Yeah, guys, who would watch the robot voice reading Reddit videos when you have a wonderful array of channels that have real people like me doing it for you? I know you're watching this on TikTok or on YouTube Shorts. I don't know if we're on Instagram Reels. I don't think we are. But guys, all all of the robot reading voice Reddit videos, block all those accounts. Ask EmKay's all you need, baby. That's what we're here for. And when you watch this channel instead, you're supporting real people, like me, and I guess Brandon too, and the editors, but only a little bit. Prime, the drink. Simply don't understand the hype. Snapchat and streaks. I get Prime. I've tried it before. I'm a big sports drink guy. Always have been. But my favorite is the lime cucumber Gatorade. Best sports drink I've ever had in my entire life. Prime isn't bad. It's not a bad drink. It tastes good. It's got less carbs and less sugar than regular sports drinks, I think. But it definitely is not worth all of this hype from all the kids. You know, like it's just, I get that your favorite YouTubers made a drink that's in stores, but come on, it's not that good. Snapchat streaks though. Me and my wonderful friend Lena, we have a Snapchat streak of almost 1,500 days. I think it's closer to 1,300 days, but we have a big streak, and you can blame her for that. Doesn't matter. They'll be pretending to hate the things they used to love in a couple years anyway, just like we did. Like what people did with FNAF, you know? It started off as being cringy and weird, and now that FNAF is getting a movie and it's in the mainstream, everyone loves FNAF. I've always been a FNAF guy. Declaring everything is a result of mental illness. Sometimes people are just assholes. ASMR mouth sounds. Some of them really suck, but I've definitely stumbled across a couple of them that are nice, and I enjoy it, but most of them are kind of weird. Social media celebrities. As a child, what's a song you sang loud and proud, only to find as an adult that it's super inappropriate for a child to be singing? Get Off by Prince. My mother heard me sing 21 Positions in a One-Night Stand and took the disc off of me. It unfortunately belonged to my older sister, and I got punished twice in 1 week. I still love that song. It Wasn't Me by Shaggy. I don't want anybody else, and when I think about you, I touch myself. I know that song, but I don't want to sing it. Me So Horny by the 2 Live Crew. My dad once said, it's your mom's favorite song. Thanks, Dad. My Humps, Black Eyed Peas. Apparently, they were not just talking about milk and Cocoa Puffs. A particular song that mentions, I'll take you to the candy shop and let you lick my lollipop, left me completely unaware of its underlying meaning back then, as I blissfully enjoyed its melody. That song is Candy Shop by 50 Cent. My 11-year-old completely innocent niece, let's have some fun, this beat is sick, I want to take a ride on your disco stick. Me. Let's play a different song. To the window! Context. I didn't really know much English. I was 8 and I knew all the words to Baby Got Back. The real Slim Shady. What is the one thing you do on Friday to start your weekend properly? In the IT world, we have read-only Fridays. If you don't change anything on Friday, then you won't need to fix it on Saturday. For me, I end the day by emailing myself a list of all the things I'm in the middle of or need to get done next. Then I can clear my mind and know I can hit the ground running on Monday again. Take my pants off as soon as I get home. I won't need them until Monday. Clock into work and get ready for everyone else in the world who is off work the next 2 days to come eat at my restaurant. Then I'm off on a Tuesday and everyone looks at me like I have no job. I go for a jog in the morning, but I take a particular route, which goes around a really pleasant park. Pleasant Park's a Fortnite location. I associate that park with Fridays and it starts my day in a great mood. I have a clown figurine that sits on a shelf above my work desk at home. After I've clocked off on Friday afternoon, this clown moves from the shelf to the front of my desk until Monday morning, because when the clown is down, party animals in town. Eat pizza and listen to Good Vibrations by Marky Mark. Get ready to cry at work, but on a weekend. Which movie soundtrack slaps from beginning to end? The Last of the Mohicans. A Goofy movie. The entire movie had absolutely no right to be that freaking good. It wasn't just the song, though that was an undeniably legendary way to close that movie out. The Blues Brothers. Prince of Egypt. I send my scourge. I send my sword, thus saith the Lord. Let my people go. Oh brother, where art thou? Edit, it makes me so happy that there are this many people who also love that movie and soundtrack. Pulp Fiction. It's Tarzan, right? You'll Be in My Heart was the last song I played in my school brass band before I left, and it will always have a place in my heart like the song suggests. Flash Gordon. Flash. Space Jam. Hit 'em High by Be Real, Coolio, Method Man, LL Cool J, and Busta Rhymes. Had absolutely no business being that hard on a single for a kids movie. Shrek, but only if you're a believer. Shrek was good, but Shrek 2 was masterful. Hans Zimmer. Yes, all of them. My personal pick would probably be the Into the Spider-Verse soundtrack. I just watched Across the Spider-Verse this week as of recording this, but I think I did like Across the Spider-Verse better, but I do think Into the Spider-Verse had a better soundtrack. Who do you believe is literally evil? Hillary Clinton. I knew a guy who retired from an investment firm before he was 40. I inquired if I can get a job at the firm, and he told me if you can look a woman in the eyes who scrubbed floors all her life and tell her that you can quadruple her life savings by investing in a stock you know is worthless, then you could work there. I felt sleazy just listening to him. I lost all respect for him. He preyed on poor, desperate people and ruined their lives so he could retire in his 30s. I found out from a friend that the investment firm was a boiler room fly-by-night scam. Everyone who worked there was taken out in handcuffs. Ted Bundy. Epstein. You just know. Phone scammers. They attack the vulnerable without remorse. Scientologists. R. Kelly. I'm pretty sure all those people are genuinely evil. I'm gonna have to agree with you here. What's considered a kid's movie but is still very enjoyable to watch as an adult? The Incredibles. Rewatching it as an adult makes you realize how brilliant it truly is. A Goofy movie. The greatest father and son story of all time. Treasure Planet. Gorgeous visuals, great character design, and fantastic score. Megamind. Oh, you're a villain, all right. Just not a super one. The Emperor's New Groove. The Addams Family. Shrek. Referred to earlier in the video, Shrek was good, but Shrek 2 is a masterpiece. Pixar movies. All of them? I know you're not talking about The Good Dinosaur. If you were to eat the same thing for breakfast every morning, what would it be? I already do that. Coffee and Outlook emails. For years, I had a peanut butter and banana sandwich every school or workday for breakfast. I guess I really only stopped because I stopped eating breakfast in general. This isn't what I'd pick for a special occasion, but for an everyday thing, it's still the most obvious choice for me. I've eaten 3 eggs for almost every breakfast the last 13 years. Coffee and hatred. Bacon and egg sandwich. I already eat the same thing every day. Rice, scrambled egg, and spinach with soy sauce and a little nutritional yeast. It's a toss-up between French toast and Honey Nut Cheerios. A tie. My wife's breakfast burritos or sausage gravy and biscuits. Oh, what I wouldn't do. Oh my god. Guys, I love cooking, if you couldn't tell by me being a big man, but biscuits and gravy for breakfast is one of my favorite things to actually cook at home. I am so good at it, and whenever I score a beautiful wife who loves to eat food, I'm gonna cook that for her, and she's gonna be like, Mason, you know what? I married you for a reason, and it's because you can cook biscuits and gravy. That's it. I'll be like, yeah, that's fine. Pretty much every day I have cottage cheese with blueberries, maple syrup, and pumpkin seeds. Delicious and filling. Y'all are sleeping on a Mexican breakfast. A couple of eggs, beans, and a tortilla, and you'll be full until dinner. If you want to get fancy, top with salsa, avocado, queso panela or fresco, and pair with coffee or fruit water. What actor or actress ruins a movie for you? She doesn't ruin it, but I audibly groan whenever she shows up. Gwyneth Paltrow. Nobody mentioned Steven Seagal. Runs fatly around a corner. I was watching The Handmaid's Tale a few months ago, and I have a habit of looking up info about actors and info related to the shows I like. That's how I found out that Elizabeth Moss is a Scientologist. The show is such a jarring story of dystopian future with deep cultish and misogynistic behavior. I'm a cult survivor, and having a person supporting a cult with a history of abusing women, starring and producing that show, is just so hypocritical. I just couldn't keep watching it because looking at her made me sick. Ezra Miller. If they recast The Flash, I hope they find someone better than Ezra. Jared Leto. If I know he's in the movie, I avoid it like the plague. Cara Delevingne, for whatever reason. There is something so unserious about her acting. She just can't act at all. The Rock plays himself wherever he appears. Now it becomes a film about The Rock. He should narrate geological documentaries. No one said James Corden yet? James Corden. To quote Ricky Gervais in 2019, everyone got to see James Corden play a fat plant. He was also in Cats, but no one saw that. Anything with Jennifer Lopez. Russell Brand. He doesn't act. He just plays himself, and I don't find him funny or interesting. It worked well in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, but that's about it. Get him to the Greek too, I think, but to be fair, they were literally the same character. Pete Davidson. I know he's only been in a few movies, but no thanks. I think that one's the only weird one to me. I genuinely think Pete Davidson's a pretty good guy. Like, he's funny. He is funny. His dad died in 9/11. That's not funny, but to him, it is. To me, no. I mean, that's a tragedy. What advice would you give to young couples who are starting to live together? Patience and communication will solve 90% of your problems, and the other 10% will be solved by a reoccurring scheduled date night. If something your partner does bugs you, then talk about it. Don't let it build. You're gonna start finding out things that she does that annoy the hell out of you. And remember, she's finding out things about you too. Don't worry about how other couples do things. There's no rules for any of this. If you want to always do the dishes, that's fine. If he likes to clean, fine. You don't have to split everything 50-50 just because you've heard that. It's more important to do what works for you two. Let your partner know about your flaws when you have them and make sure you know theirs. Before you commit to living together, remember this piece of advice I was given many years ago by a lawyer. You know the difference between getting married and living together? Divorce has rules. Separate blankets. It's so nice to be able to burrito up without the concern of being a blanket hog. Watched a few episodes of Judge Judy. If I had $1 for every young living together couple squabbling over money and property, I'd be rich. You don't have to do everything together. If he's asleep and you want to go, Jim, just go. 90% of your life will now be yelling, "What?" from the other room. How do you calm your anger? I have to get away from people. Think about cooking. It sounds weird, but I debate what I'm going to cook for dinner and run through ingredients in my head. That way, I'm distracted from rage, and it gives me time to process my feelings. My brain turns it into deep depression. That's not healthy. A therapist of mine told me that most anger is a reaction to a different type of feeling. I try to analyze what other feeling I'm feeling and get to the core of it. Sometimes it sucks because anger is a knee-jerk response, usually, and really hard to calm. But to avoid arguments, it's better to analyze. It also helps you understand others more. I begin singing in my head, something calming like Pink Floyd or any number of Black Sabbath songs. If I'm getting impatient or try not to call someone an idiot idiot, I'll sing 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock rock in my head. By 6 o'clock rock, I'm usually over it and nobody even knows I was annoyed. The trick is to always be angry. Hey, that guy from the Avengers does that. Whistle a song. No one can stay angry while whistling. That is not a challenge, by the way, guys. Y'all calm your anger? Bite my finger. I thought I was so weird for doing this. What are y'all starting to dislike more and more the older you get? Loud noises. People. I used to be a people person, but people ruined it. Waiting for things or other people. My patience has gotten progressively worse. I just know I like canceled plans more and more now. How despite working a good job with ostensibly good pay, things going backwards and opportunities contract. Apps. I shouldn't need to download an app for everything. Personally, I like having apps for the simplest things instead of having to print things. Like, I'm flying for the first time this week in a very long time, and I know they had apps before this, but the thought of we used to have to print off tickets, it sounds annoying, because then I might lose them. Versus on my app or a flight, it's just always on my phone, and I always have my phone on me. You know, shopping, especially clothes shopping. I used to enjoy it, and now I find it mostly a chore. Dating. Agreed. I gave up years ago, and I'd rather die alone and have my cats eat me than deal with one more douche who can't carry on a simple conversation. Normal things that sometimes don't work like they need to, like the broom that just won't fucking stay still for a goddamn second on this fucking wall, and little like that. What is a fact or statistic that seems fake but is real? Horses kill more people every year in Australia than all the other beasties combined. Everyone thinks it's the spiders and snakes that'll get you, but it's the horses you really gotta watch. Even their fucking horses are poisonous? In English, the color orange was named after the fruit. Before that, orange was just considered a shade of red. That's why gingers are called redheads. It took us more time to go from bronze swords to iron swords than it did for us to go from iron swords to nuclear weapons. Sharks have existed longer than trees have. Grasshoppers are also older than grass. They used to be just called hoppers. We live closer in time to the T-Rex than the T-Rex did to Stegosaurus. George Washington didn't know dinosaurs existed. What an idiot. Not my president. Barcode scanners scan the white lines, not the black ones. Wombat poo is cube-shaped to stop it from rolling away. I can't believe I just googled images of wombat poo. That's some interesting shit. If we lost all the dead space inside our atoms, we would each be able to fit into a particle of dust, and the entire human species would fit into the volume of a sugar cube. I know it's right, but I find it incredibly hard to believe. We went to the moon before we put wheels on a suitcase. Cleopatra lived closer in time to the mobile phone than she did construction of the pyramids. There was a window of time where a samurai could have faxed Abraham Lincoln. Who was the worst student in your high school, and what did they do that was so bad? There was a kid who walked up to the pencil sharpener and set the substitute teacher's hair on fire from behind her with a cigarette lighter, and then claimed sparks had flown out of the light switch. Yeah, he's in prison for other stuff now. The oldest sister of one of my classmates killed a pizza delivery person with the help of her boyfriend for $20 and a pizza. I knew a lot of bad people back in high school, but I think the guy who dropped a whole desk out of a third-story window onto some kid qualify as the worst, purely because I think that qualifies as an attempted murder. The kid lived? Oh my god. The boy that put a pipe bomb into another kid's locker because he talked to the girl the original boy liked. He went to juvenile program and then disappeared. Not the worst student, but craziest thing to happen was freshman year. This kid got caught using a keylogger to steal teachers' gradebook logins to sell grade changes. He was also stealing credit card info. Kid got expelled and sent a revenge PPT to every student, teacher, and alumni from a random kid's email address that had Photoshop pictures of all the teachers and administrators in gang and onto beast. Ran into him a few years ago, and he actually graduated Harvard and is in real estate now. I don't believe that for a second, you goddamn Reddit liar. My grade 9 science teacher, ironically to the story, is named Mr. Calm. Had an infant son who died 2 weeks into the school year. He took at least a month off to grieve, and when he returned, the resident class clown was up to his usual tricks, basically just trying to be as distracting as he could be. Finally, Mr. Calm had enough and told the kid to sit down and shut up. Then the kid said, "It's a good thing your baby died young. Would have been a terrible life with you for a father." Mr. Calm snapped, picked up the kid's desk with the kid in it, and threw it. Poor Mr. Calm got fired for this. Every other student who was there tried to defend our teacher, saying the kid got what he deserved, but nothing we said made a difference. Nothing happened to the kid. Still makes me angry to think about, and that was in 1994. Standard bully, but he took special joy in harassing and bullying the special ed kids. I think his greatest personal victory was when he got 2 kids with Down syndrome to fight each other. He's a cop now. Well, that escalated no, sounds about right. We had a kid bring a gun to school, a flare gun, and he of course showed it off and accidentally fired it into a locker, causing a fire. That is why everyone in my high school ended up being required to have only see-through or mesh backpacks. There was a kid who would go around and take a shit in the bathroom sinks. They eventually caught him, but this went on for a while without anyone knowing who it was, so we referred to them as the poop phantom. Have you ever witnessed something that should have gotten someone fired at work? If so, what happened? The supervisor left the safe open. At this job, he should have absolutely gotten fired, but his blunder got overshadowed because one of the douchier employees stole $50K and went on the run for over half a day. I work overnights at a hotel. They hired a guy to be the security or valet valet, and in the first 2 weeks, he was found sleeping on the job. The first time he was found by a third coworker. We told the manager and nothing happened. The second time, the manager found him sleeping in the bell closet in a wheelchair. He got sent home but didn't get fired. A girl at my work literally punched another employee in the face multiple times at work. The girl who got punched left, obviously, and the girl who did the punching still works there to this day. Oh yeah, and there's also a video of it that was sent to a lot of their employees by her. She definitely has blackmail on the owner. That's the only logical reason we can think of why he won't fire her. Probably saw the video and didn't want to catch those hands. Me, when I used to show up to work drunk every day. Still don't know how I got away with it. Someone definitely knew. There was no way my breath smelled and my walking wasn't straight, but management liked me and drinking on the job was an immediate fire, so nobody said anything. I miss that job. I don't miss being drunk 24/7. My boss smacking me on the ass with a ruler. I got sent home for asking him what his fucking problem was. I work in a kitchen. One of my coworkers will wash their gloves instead of changing them and will sometimes outright refuse to prepare some foods. That's it for today's video, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful night. Goodbye.